Okay, we're up, I think. Looks to be. All right. Okay, yeah, we're good. People are joining. Awesome. Give it a second. So for anyone who wasn't in the last stream, I'd said I would do this one following up on 5G. Some people were asking questions about 5G and things like that, so I thought I would do this one. And so I'm going to blurb about 5G, a few things around it, and then I'm going to go into Q&A, because last time when I had something planned to actually do, I didn't get any of it done, and yeah, I ended up just answering questions, which I'm happy to do, but so I figure I'll do the blurb first and plan in for 5G. Who's this? SN Manji? SN Manji? SN Imagine. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. Hey, how are you? What's the topic of today? It's 5G. 5G is what we're talking about. I want to know how to clone an ID card. Use one of those. That was a quick and easy one. It okay? Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about 5G, and not just so we're going to be talking about obviously the health around it. That's obviously a big factor that a lot of people are concerned about. They think about. They think there's going to be health issues with it. So I'm going to talk about them. I'm also going to talk about the impact of it in the world of radio and IoT devices and things in general, because it is a really huge leap in technology, and what it allows people to do is quite substantial. A lot of people have been comparing it to like when Wi-Fi came out. If you think about it, before Wi-Fi, everything was hardwired. Whenever Wi-Fi started being it came out, it went everywhere so quickly. Wi-Fi spread so fast because it was just such an amazing technology, and it gave so many people um, abilities to do things, which just spread so quickly, which was a nightmare for security. But and I think 5G is going to be something similar. I see you're an IT tech. Would you teach people to hack? No, I would not. I'm not going to teach people how to hack. I will happily point you in the direction where you can learn cybersecurity. But yeah, I'm not going to teach you how to specifically hack people. So, people in my town went stupid nuts when our 5G antennas went up. Yeah, they wanted a petition. Yeah, where I live, they started burning them. Ironically, they couldn't tell the difference between the 5G towers and the 4G towers. So whenever they burnt them down, they then lost phone signal and were complaining to the mobile operators, saying, why is my 4G gone? Why can I no longer get mobile data? It's because you burnt down the tower, you dick. So right, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off with the health of 5G, and um, is it going to kill you? Well, currently, no. The um, the current research that's out says that it's fine, and one of the biggest myths that's going round at the minute, and misinformation that's spreading on social media, is that there's no research being done on 5G, which is bollocks. There is tons, and I've got my computer open. I've got some of those research papers open. I'll show you them in a second. So there's plenty of research out there. The people who are saying there isn't are they're just not looking effectively. They've seen a tweet somewhere that some Twitter scientist has said, "Oh, there's no research and this is dangerous," and they've accepted that as the truth, and that's as far as it's went. But no, there's plenty of research out there on it. There is a health issue, and it comes up in all of the papers, but it's not an issue with 5G. It's an issue with RF background radiation, like the background RF, that if it reaches a certain point, it could become dangerous. And that's something that is mentioned a lot, but it's not because of 5G. It's not, oh, this is going to be a big thing because of 5G. This is just happening anyway because a lot of our wireless devices are out there, and it is a concern, because the more wireless devices we have, the more RF we're putting into the air, and if it reaches a certain point, it could become dangerous. And it's dangerous to the point, you're effectively putting electricity into the air, which is what they're concerned about. At the minute, it's way below the threshold of being dangerous. It's a small minority. It's nowhere near it. The current recommended safe limit of like background RF is 1 watt per meter squared. So 1 watt of RF radiation in a meter cube, effectively. That's the recommended limit. If it goes above that, then they're saying that it could start causing issues. But like I say, we're well below that. I mean, we're like point not 1 of a watt or something along those lines. So it's definitely not to do with the frequency. Another thing that comes along with 5G and if it's dangerous is people seem to like using the term millimeter wave. They're saying, it's a millimeter wave, and millimeter wave will, it'll penetrate your body and it'll fry you from the inside. Well, for a start, 5G doesn't actually go into millimeter wave. It doesn't go that high frequency. It goes pretty damn high, but it doesn't actually go into millimeter wave. There is a small percentage of it, sorry, that can, but it's for specific use cases. So it doesn't actually go that high. The concept of it, sorry, let me see. I actually got a script that is like 56 pages long. That's not a script, that's a program if it's 56 pages. Would you be able to go through it? I mean, you can say, you could send a 30 meg and take a look, but yeah, don't know how much you'll be able to help on that. So yeah, the RF frequency at that level, whenever it gets to that high frequency, and you're talking into the gigahertz, the wavelength, so the actual size of the signal is quite small. So the higher in frequency you go, the shorter the physical wavelength is. If you could see it, it would be a shorter size. So an easy way to picture wavelength and sizes. This is a walkie-talkie. This uses VHF, very high frequency, and UHF, ultra high frequency. Ultra high frequency is VH, so 3 to 30. VHF is 30 megahertz to 300 megahertz. UHF is 300 megahertz to 3 gigahertz. So it always goes in threes. It jumps in threes. So it's 3 to 30, 30 to 300, 300 to 3, and so on. And this, whenever you're in the VHF range, so the very high frequency, in amateur radio we call it the 2 meter band, because the frequency is 144 megahertz, and the wavelength for that is roughly 2 meters long. I don't know what that is in feet. I think that's about 2 yards or something in American. So we call that the 2 meter band, because if we could see the wavelength of the signal whenever we're pressing the pressel, it's about 2 meters. Because it's that long, it can pass through objects. It can go through things easily. The wavelength, because if it's bigger than the object, it can sort of, if you picture it going through the air like that, it can go through it no problem. The shorter the wavelength, so the higher the frequency, the more it struggles to get through objects. So actually, if you think of your Wi-Fi, if you've got 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, some of you may have seen that. It's not that new. The 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi actually struggles to get through objects more. So some people switch to 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi thinking, oh, this is going to, this is going to make my speed so much faster, and it'll get much longer range because it's better. So, but because it's a higher frequency, it actually struggles to get through objects, so its range is less, and that's something that seems to annoy people. They think 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi is absolutely amazing, and then they don't get as much range as they do with the 2.4 gigahertz, and that's because it's a higher frequency, so it's a shorter wavelength, and it can't get through objects. The same is with 5G. So 5G can go upwards of 60 gigahertz. It's faster but not long range. Yeah, I'm going to finish my 5G blurb, and then I'll go through and answer questions. I can see a lot of you asking some cybersecurity ones. I'll come back to them in a second once I've finished my 5G blurb. So 5G is much higher frequency. It can go up into 60 gigahertz. It is quite high frequency. It's into the EHF, and I think even beyond that. But because of that, the wavelength is so small, it can't penetrate objects. It really struggles to get through things, including your body. So that's where this myth that it'll go inside you and it'll cook you because it's millimeter wave. Well, it's not, and it can't. It can't get inside you. Uh, Low frequency can bounce through the atmosphere. High frequency will punch through the atmosphere. Sort of. You're sort of right there, Smudge. I'll come back to that. Um, so it actually struggles to get through your body, and there's research going on at the minute with 5G because of that. Because if you think your cell tower is here, and you've got your phone and you answer it, your head is now blocking the signal to the cell tower. It can't go through you, and so you lose signal. So there's a whole ream of research at the minute of how do they mitigate this, because it can't pass through your body. So it can't go inside you. It can't go in and boil your blood or anything like that. And you see all of these things of people. The council puts in new lampposts that are IoT, and a tree that got hit by lightning 4 years ago has one side that doesn't have leaves, and they're like, "That's 5G did that." It's bollocks. It can't get through them. It can't penetrate those solid objects. It's bollocks. There's a guy on YouTube who does um, conspiracy theories. That's all. It's complete and total bollocks. But one of them, he got one of these smart lampposts, and all they are, they're IoT. They've got a Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz antenna on the top of them, and all they're doing is they're just sending like log information to each other, like, yes, I'm turned on, I've got a broken bulb, I need replaced. That's all they're sending out, and it's Wi-Fi. That's all it is. But people see an antenna. This nutter seen an antenna and went, it must be 5G. They're trying to hide it. And he stripped the thing down and he was like, look, this is a weapon system, because see this cable, it's really thick because it's supplying lots of power to a wee fucking piddly antenna. Like, mate, if it's supplying that much power to that antenna, it would catch fire. And that big coil of wire that you think you're seeing, that's obviously supplying lots of high voltage, it's a bundle of tiny wires. It's cabling. Like, what the fuck? Uh, Smudge made a good point. Non-ionizing radiation, exactly. So a lot of people seem to think that RF radio frequency and like gamma rays are the same thing, and they. I mean, if you look at the RF spectrum, the radio frequency spectrum, those kinds of radiation are on there, but they are way up there. Like, they're past sunlight. That's how far into the radiation they go, and they are ionizing, so they can change your cells. Now, I'm not a biologist. I don't know what it is they do to the cells that cause it to change and mutate. But RF can't do that. It doesn't. It's non-ionizing. It can give you a burn though. But this, again, as I said earlier on, is down to the power, not the frequency. You can get what's called an RF burn, and they suck. It's like a burn just underneath your skin. And again, 5G can't do that because it can't get underneath your skin. But a good example I use for showing that it's the power rather than the frequency is all of you in your homes, I can guarantee, have a device, two devices, one that is safe, that transmits an RF frequency, and another thing that transmits the same frequency but isn't safe. And that's your Wi-Fi router and your microwave. Both of them use 2.4 gigahertz. Just one, the router uses it at about 5 watts, and the microwave uses it at about 800 watts, give or take, to a kilowatt. So, it's not the frequency that can do you harm, it's the power level, and power in radio frequency drops off really fucking quickly. It drops off in accordance with a thing called the inverse square law. And I'm nearly done. I'll get to questions in a second. I'm nearly done. It falls off in accordance with the inverse square law, which just basically means if you have a bubble and you have a light in there, let's say a candle, and that bubble is 1 meter the whole way around, and at that 1 meter point you have 100% of the light. The light is 100% filling this bubble. If you double the size of the bubble, so it's now 2 meters, the light at that 2 meter point is now a quarter of the power. It's now at 25%, because it's the same amount of light, but it's got twice the area to fill, and so the power is then quartered, because everything it's got to go to all those corners. So and RF radio frequency is exactly the same. It falls off that quickly, which is why having a cell tower that's a kilowatt, it isn't going to melt your face, because the power is so low by the time that it gets to you that it may as well not be there. So that's a quick blurb about 5G, the health things. I'll come back and talk about the um, tech implications in a second. I'm going to try and catch up on questions here. Let me just go up. How does that compare to the Army's heat ray microwaves? Again, power, not frequency. Yeah, that as I said there, power drops off so quickly. So those military style microwave guns, I think they're banned by the Geneva Convention, to be perfectly honest. But I know they had worked on them in the past. They're a directional antenna, so all the power is focused really heavily in one direction, and they are hundreds of kilowatts in power. They're really, really high power, and actually quite short range because the power disappears so quickly. So yeah, definitely not 5G. Do you think a lot of hackers like to exercise or go to the gym? I think you'd be surprised. I mean, there's a lot that don't. I'm definitely getting a gut. I blame that on having a baby, but to be honest, it was probably COVID and being stuck inside. I've stopped, but I used to run daily. So yeah, I mean, a lot of them do like to keep fit. Some do not. Hey brother, how can I hack my girlfriend's phone? We're a long distance relationship. Please, I need help. You certainly do, my friend. Hacking her phone is not the help you need. Nope. Okay, Hertz. Are you do Python? Maybe. I know Python. I think that's what you're getting at. It's faster, but it's not long range. I think he's talking about the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It's true. Smudge. Smudge. Low frequency can bounce off the atmosphere. High frequency will punch through. So this is just a matter of semantics. HF, which is high frequency, bounces off the atmosphere. Okay. And below. So high frequency and below will reflect off the atmosphere. It reflects off a layer called the ionosphere, which is charged by the sun, so it changes during the day. And in amateur radio we use not these. It's buried under cables, but I've got an HF radio there, and we use quite long antennas, usually 30 meters give or take. And yeah, the signals that we use, they bounce off that ionosphere and they hop, and that's how we can get very long range communications using HF, using radios. The military do that as well because it doesn't rely on anything else other than just having a radio at point A and a radio at point B, and you can bounce those signals. Above that, so VHF, so the likes of these, they'll go through the ionosphere. They're not inhibited by it. And in fact, if you get one of these, you can actually talk to the International Space Station as it's going over, because these and VHF is generally line of sight. And if you think about it, I know it seems weird to think, but between you and the International Space Station, when it's overhead, there's nothing in your way apart from clouds and the atmosphere, and it doesn't affect these. So you can actually talk to the International Space Station. It's quite cool. Non-ionizing radiation. They create their own network. I think that's about the IoT, the IoT lampposts. Started using Linux Mint, but I'm not feeling like I'm ready. Bill and Nexus. Don't know if you're still in, but I mean, what is it you're wanting to do with the Linux, or is it just you're wanting to tinker about with Linux and have a go, or are you trying to do something specific? I know Linux can be, if you're not used to it, it can be a bit of a learning curve jumping straight into it. Arco Linux. Use Arco Linux. It's good for learning. Oh, okay, there you go. Let me see. Glad you cleared that up. It's an important distinction. Yeah, sorry if it came across as I'm being pedantic, but just it's yeah, HF, LF, yeah, all that stuff. I think Marconi himself used the atmosphere to communicate with America. I wouldn't be surprised. Can you hack, man? I can hack, man. I want to start getting ideas about the system. Yeah, I mean, any is good. Most Linux ones, they just have specific things. So what I've got here is Parrot OS. Let me flip that around. So this is Parrot, and I use it for most hackings. But it does have a what's the word, a non-hacking version. So the one I've got, they've got a Parrot Security, which has a lot of like pen testing tools and things like that, which is really cool to fiddle with. But they also have a community edition that's just a standard operating system for anyone to use as they like. I like Parrot. If you've ever heard of Cali, similar thing. I just prefer Parrot because I like the look of it. But yeah, it really depends what you're wanting to do. Ubuntu is always a good start, but Ubuntu's nice and user friendly, but I think it's a bit too user friendly, and I don't like the interface of it. But then if you start going into GNOME, things can look a bit nah. Yeah, it's a tough one. To be honest, if you're not wanting to change your main computer to a Linux one, get yourself a Raspberry Pi, a wee computer, and use Raspbian. It's a little Linux operating system that was made specifically for the Pi, and it is really easy to play about with. And if you're just wanting to get a feel for things, it's definitely worth it. Can you hack Steam? Don't know, never tried. Cavan, Loch, Monaghan. Monaghan. No, no. Try again. Okay, caught up on questions. So 5G, future of, and things. Oh, do you do any Pi projects? How long? What is your go-to distro? Parrot. Donegal? No, you're getting closer. Ish. Can you try for me and have a challenge, bro? No, because I do not have permission to hack Steam, so I'm not going to do it. Is that the right way around? There we go. So this, I did a video on this before. This is my portable hacking kit. That's a Raspberry Pi there. Is my portable radio hacking kit. And it's a Raspberry Pi, and I use this whenever I'm going to security conferences to like give demos of the radio attacks. I take this with me, and it's got most of the stuff I need. I had thought today of a project with a Raspberry Pi Zero, you know, the small ones, and a wireless access point, and try and create a little contained bad Wi-Fi, bad wireless. So that and what I was thinking was have it set up that it's just a standard wireless like free Wi-Fi access point, but have it that it has a login page. So whenever you click on some Wi-Fi's like north, need to think north. So yeah, just new way. Sometimes whenever you go onto free Wi-Fi, like at an airport or something like that, it says, "Oh, enter in your flight details to confirm that you're allowed access to this Wi-Fi," or something like that. I was curious to see how many people would, if I put in this small Raspberry Pi device with an access point, have a free Wi-Fi, set it up somewhere in the city, and have it just marketed as a free Wi-Fi, it connects to the internet fine, but whenever they connect to it, it prompts them with a login page and it says, okay, you can have access to this, no problem, but you need to sign up, so set up an email address and password. And most people use the same password on all of their accounts, and so it's likely that if anyone actually jumps onto it, puts in their email address and password, and then I can capture all that data, that I could then have access to their email addresses because they're probably using the same password. Now, obviously, I would want to do this in a way, I wanted to build it in a way that it would log that they entered a password, but not actually capture it, because again, as I say, I do all this stuff legally, it's research, it's not malicious, so I'd want to do it so that it could just set a flag to say, this person put in an email address, this person, they put in, or would maybe get the email address, and this person put in a password, but don't actually capture the password, so that I'm not actually capturing people's details, and I could be ever accused of doing anything malicious about it. So that was a Raspberry Pi project, I thought, because it could be quite small and contained and battery powered, and you could just leave it there and see how many credentials you could harvest. Let me catch up on questions. Donegal. No, oh wait, that went too far. Can you hack DVLA? Do you know what government website? Probably could, but no, again, I don't have permission to do it. I'm giving you one. No. Letter, no. Are there bad hackers out there? Now, do you mean bad as in they're shit, or bad as in they're trying to do evil things? What about two-factor authentication? Yeah, so if you have two-factor authentication on your email address or things like that, then yeah, it wouldn't. If I put up that fake Wi-Fi hotspot to capture that email address and password combo, if you had two-factor authentication enabled on your email address or whatever account, then yeah, I couldn't get in. And that two-factor authentication is a really, really good thing. If you don't have it on any accounts, put it on. I know it can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but if you think if it's marginally more difficult for you, then it's infinitely more difficult for an attacker. Invitation to go live together. I have no idea what these are, so no. Let's see. What's the craziest tech you know? I'll come back to that. I need to think about that. I know a few weird ones. Yeah, I'll come back to that one. I need to think about that. Bad people, yeah, there's bad hackers everywhere. A lot of people accuse me of being a malicious hacker. The bastards. I am not. I am white hat. I'll even. Where's the hat? I've got a hat somewhere. I've got an actual white hat. I think I wore it in one of the videos. I don't know. Nope, don't have it. I think my wife stole it for one of her videos. On that note, if you want to know more about cybersecurity and things like that, as well as what I put on my content, check out Cybersec Mama. That's my wife. She also does a ton of videos around sort of like cybersecurity jargon, some basic tips on staying safe, all that good stuff. I wish I could hack social media accounts. That's it. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. How long have you been doing this? So I've been in IT, so working with computers for about 10 years, and I've been in cybersecurity the past 5. And then before IT, I worked with radios. I worked with radios for about 7 years. I done that after I left school, and that's where I learned how to do radio stuff. And I've just sort of combined the two of cybersecurity and radios. I believe you. I don't know. I can't remember what that's in reference to, Chris. Do you know what kind of writable tags I can use to clone my ID card? I found a reader and writer. It depends. It depends on the type of ID card that you have. Man, IMD grad. I don't know what IMD is. With no degree, I want to be cybersecurity professional. Cool. Yeah, it depends on the type of ID card. There's tons of them. These wee devices are gods. Really, really cool. The only downside is, and I'm very tempted to rip the speaker out of this. There's a wee speaker at the back. Yeah, here, and if I scan this,
read success. Card number is 31446.
Yeah. Turn that off. There's no volume control. You can't turn that off. That fucker shouts that out every time you scan a card, and it does my head in. So I'm very tempted to open that up and disconnect the speaker, because my god, that's annoying. But though, yeah, what I was going to say about this, so you scan credit card, yeah, this can, okay. Anyone in America, I don't know how many people have this. Whenever I was last in America, it was uncommon to have, but the contactless payment, so where you just tap it and it pays. This picked it up. I put my credit card to this just to see, and it picked up the contactless fine. Didn't even fucking blink. It said it was encrypted. It did turn around and say, okay, I can't read it. It couldn't display the number, but it captured the signal. And if you've seen any of my other videos, encryption means shit, because all I need is the signal. If I've got the signal and the signal doesn't change, doesn't matter. So it saved the signal, and I managed to write it onto one of these. I don't know which one. I couldn't remember which one I've written. I wrote my credit card onto, so I had to go through and wipe all of them again just to make sure it was gone, because didn't want that lying around. But yeah, cool bits of kit. Let me see. Let me catch up. How did I transition into cybersecurity? Slightly through more luck than judgment. Where are you from? I live in Lisburn. I am out Carrick direction. I'm not going to give you any more specifics than that. How did you transition to cybersecurity? So more luck than judgment. As I said, I was working in IT. I was a sysadmin, a systems administrator, looking after small server room. It was a reasonable sized company. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she graduated with a computer science degree not long before we started dating, and she got a job doing website security as a sort of like graduate role. And from that, we started talking about, we're constantly talking about cybersecurity, things like that. And I started going to cybersecurity conferences, and then I seen that there was, for my previous radio knowledge could be applied to some of the cybersecurity stuff. I thought that was cool, and so then I started moving myself into cybersecurity. Got more involved in cybersecurity in the company I was in, and then eventually got a job that I'm now currently in doing cybersecurity. I also got a scholarship at Queen's to do a master's in applied cybersecurity. I'd sort of shown them my talks that I'd done around radio hacking and breaking shit radios, and they had scholarships on offer, so both me and my wife got that, and so we went and did that as well. So yeah, more luck than anything else. What was the motivation to get into IT and cyber? Yeah, that. Put tinfoil around your head. I'm sure they installed 5G now. Well, I've had my first COVID vaccine, so I think now I am a 5G beacon. So I think that's good. Interactive multimedia design web development. Oh, okay, cool. So that's the IMD stuff. Cool. Web development. There is a company. I don't know where you're based, but they're American. But I know they're here in the UK as well. There's a company called White Hat. They do website security. Might be worth talking to. If you already know how to build websites, you know how to break them. So you can scan credit cards. Yeah, I got that. Put some duct tape on it. I tried that. The speaker is really fucking loud on this thing. It is really loud. I tried duct tape the whole lot. I'm going to bite the bullet, strip it down, and just desolder the speaker. Are you in the UK? Yes, I'm in Northern Ireland. My teacher showed us how to hack so we can learn how to prevent it. That's good. Cool. That's why I don't use that. RF is unsafe. Well, I mean, RF in general is safe, but I think you're talking about the contactless cards. And yeah, they're not great. Do you teach? No, not well. I mean, unless you count this as teaching. I do also do stuff on YouTube where I talk through stuff. Yeah. Always thought it'd be cool to do a sort of course on Udemy of some of this shit, or even just on fucking YouTube. But yeah, it would take a lot of planning because I don't know how I would construct it in a nice logical manner, and there would be a lot of effort involved in that. And if you put it on YouTube, no one fucking watches it because the YouTube algorithm is so shit. I just want to learn enough to be safe, more or less. You have to read books, lots of books. Don't know what that's in reference to. Dynamic duo. Is that me and my wife? Possibly. Always into it. I always into it, but unfortunately I just get bored, or I say ... Not sure what that's in reference to. How can I start into cybersecurity? I got a couple of videos on that of going through. It really depends on what stage you're at the minute. If you're in university, get yourself a graduate role, graduate job with a cybersecurity company or a company that has a cybersecurity team. There's tons of them. If you currently work in IT, go speak to your cybersecurity team if they have one, or if they don't have one, start becoming that advocate of cybersecurity. There's plenty of resources online on governance and all that good stuff. So work in that way and try and get yourself experience. If you have no experience in IT or cybersecurity, some certifications. are always a good start to at least get you past that HR check. So the likes of the CompTIA Security Plus, the A Plus, Network Plus, all those good ones, things like that. And you don't even necessarily have to sit the exam for all of them, but just get the knowledge of the Network Plus and then do the Security Plus exam. They're also quite cheap compared to most certifications. Some of them are a couple of grand, whereas the CompTIA ones are 300, 400 pounds depending. Second dose activates the microchip. Yeah, I've heard the second dose is the one where you then fall in love with Bill Gates and become magnetic. So I'm looking forward to that. Downpatrick? No, I'm not in Downpatrick. Rip John McAfee, or McAfee, however you want to pronounce it. Who cares? He was a dickhead. Bro, simple, yes or no. Drake, I can't remember what you asked. Oh, let's scroll back. Let's see. What was he after? I don't do simple yes or no's. You should know this. I say you should know this. I have no idea how long you've been in the stream or seen the name of stuff. Nope, can't see. Too far back. Don't know what that was in reference to. Could you scan if there was an RFID in the vaccine? Okay, right, sure, yeah. Let's do that. Ugh. Right. Wait, which arm did I get it in? Yeah, it was that one. Okay.
Read failure.
No, boo. No RFID in the vaccine. Sorry. Look, whenever you use that scanner, what does it convert the info into? This one, so it so all of the cards, whether it's a credit card or ID card or whatever it is, they basically just have a string of numbers in there that identifies them in some way, shape, or form. So whenever you read the cards, let's read this one. It just shows you the number. But as I said, it doesn't need the number to clone it. Like if I scan this one and it couldn't understand the number, it's still got the signal. So as long as it gets something else, like this one that's blank, it can copy it across into it. Not a problem. So if I scan that.
Read success. Card number is 314664642.
Let's turn her off. So that's it's just numbers. Do you hack to help others? So I'm white hat, so it's my job. I get paid to. Well, strictly speaking, the radio stuff I do in my spare time. But I am a good guy. I don't do things illegally. I've got licenses and permissions to do a lot of this stuff. Python, I want to learn and change the world and not learn programming to build websites. To be honest, I would lose the change the world mentality. It's don't get me wrong, good to have a goal, good to shoot for things, but the problem is you could burn yourself out very easily and you get very disappointed if the first thing you build is shit and it doesn't work, which is going to happen. All the radio stuff I've built, the stuff that you see in the videos, I guarantee you there was about 5 or 6 iterations of that were just shit that didn't work. And if you're thinking that you're going to go into it and be absolutely amazing and nail it first time, you're going to get disheartened and you might not get anywhere. So I would, the best way to learn programming is to find a project. Think of something that doesn't matter if it exists or not, but something that you think would be cool, something that you would like to see exist in the computer or whatever else. Like think of a project and then use Python to try and make it happen. And it may not be possible. You may fumble. You may not work. It might be really shit. Doesn't matter. But use that as a practice point, and you'll get a lot of practice that way. What book or books would you recommend? I'm not a good person to recommend books. I've got tons of books. I read them. I flick through them. I use them for reference. But I learn better from videos and led training rather than myself just flicking through a book. So I'm not the best one to recommend them, sorry. Do you know any good crypto to make secure websites? RSA 256, lattice-based. No, not lattice-based. Lattice-based cryptography is what they're using to stop quantum computing from breaking encryption. What's the one I'm thinking of? Elliptic curve cryptography is another one that's good. There's standards out there. If you get a cert, it'll sort it. How did you get knowledgeable with hacking, etc.? Trial and error. As I said, I used to work with radios. I now work with cybersecurity, and I've just sort of picked up shit over the years. What apps do you use on your phone for security? Fuck all. Antivirus and stuff like that isn't that great because it works on signatures, and basically what that means is whenever they get like a malicious bit of code, like a virus or something like that, that's, you know, they know this does something dodgy, they create what's called a hash of it. And in fact, if you check out Cybersec Mama's video, she explains what hashing is. I have to plug it or she'll throw stuff at me. I'm joking. But yes, they create a hash, which is like a signature of the file. It's like a fingerprint of that file, and they feed that into the antivirus software, and whenever the antivirus sees something that matches that hash, they then flag it as a virus. They also do it for like functions and stuff within code, but that's getting complicated. But the gist is, whenever you change the smallest thing, like putting a space in, a full stop, changing a word to a different language, anything like that, it completely changes the fingerprint, and so antivirus doesn't see it. So it's very, very easy for an attacker to make a piece of malware that doesn't get picked up by antivirus. So generally speaking, I don't use anything for security. I just try not to click on things or go to dodgy websites. Do you use Android or iPhone, and why? I use Android because I hate Apple. What kind of money can you make in IT? It depends on the country. Here in the UK, you make pounds. In America, you make dollars, and in Europe, you make euros. Do you have Wi-Fi at home? I do. It exists for animals. Not sure what that means. Happy watch it, pick it up. Yeah. Had a vaccine and needed to go buy a Surface Pro. Yeah, Bill Gates money, I'll get you. I need a Home Depot car. Sure. Are VPNs worth getting? Ah, fuck, we're going to go on our tangent here. Okay. VPNs are not the be-all, end-all of security. Okay. I almost need to draw this out. So, the way a VPN works is you have... I need props. Sure. Okay. SDR Jammer. This is you. This is the website you want to get to. This is your internet service provider. Is this going to work? Maybe. Generally speaking, what happens whenever you don't have a VPN is you send a connection, it goes to the website. That's fine. And it goes through your internet service provider. So it goes boink, boink. Your internet service provider sees what website you're going to, and that's more or less it, because most traffic these days is over HTTPS, which is encrypted, and your internet service provider can't see that. Only the website and you can see that, because you set up an encryption before you actually start sending the communication. So your ISP can't see that. What happens whenever you use a VPN is you encrypt all of your traffic. So you wrap it up and you send it to a VPN provider. So we'll say that's them. All of the traffic, including where you're going to, so what website you're going to, is then hidden from your internet service provider. I'm going to drop the props, it's not working. It was worth a try. So whenever you use a VPN, your internet service provider can't see where it's going, and it goes to the VPN provider. The VPN provider then decrypts it and then passes it on, and then at that point it goes out to the internet. From that point on, so the VPN provider can see what website you're going to, and the VPN provider's internet provider can see what websites you're going to. It always has to come out at the internet somewhere, and from that point on, it's as secure as it would be if it was going from your device to the website. So this concept that a VPN is really, really good for being secure because, you know, it'll keep attackers at bay, it's bollocks. All of your traffic is encrypted anyway on HTTPS. If it's not, then, you know, don't put any banking details in there. And a VPN provider is a really, really good spot for an attacker to sit. So if I'm a malicious person and I wanted to capture lots of information, lots of data, because I know if I'm just sitting at a router or an exit point into the internet, I know most of that traffic is going to be encrypted, so I'm not going to get much, but I might get something. A VPN provider is a fucking torrent. It's a storm drain of data because a lot of people are going out the same pipe. So I would sit there and capture things. You also have to consider, do you trust a VPN provider? Because they can see what's going on and they can also potentially unencrypt the data if they're acting like a proxy, which I'm not going to get into, but if they're acting like a proxy, they could actually unencrypt the data and then send it on, and they sort of act as a man in the middle. That's something a VPN can do. So if the VPN that you're using is free, you have to think, okay, well, how are they making their money? And odds are it's by selling your data. Now, that might not be from decrypting it and grabbing credit card details. It could just be finding out, okay, well, he's going to this website, so here, advertisers, this person might be interested in X, or there's that data, and they sell it. So just something to be aware of. VPNs are not an amazing security thing. What's the name of the device? If you're talking about this, it's just an RFID reader. You'll find them. Where did you get it? eBay, I think. Can you clone credit cards? Yeah. Do your credit card for proof. Don't show the number though. No. Remember, she reads it out. Remember, big speaker. It says it out loud. I'm not doing my credit card. Do you have any EMV equipment? EMV? What do you mean EMV? I don't know that term. Red teaming. Red teaming is a type of hacking. It's pen testers usually. How did you learn to... Sorry, my throat's getting dry. 2 seconds. How did you learn to hack? As I said, just pick things up over the years. Any physical pen test experience? Yes. Biggest flaw you've found or heard of? I mean, stupid. Yeah, I mean, not biggest, but stupidest one I heard of was a door into a server room. That's, you swipe. Really secure. It had a swipe and a keypad, so 2-factor authentication. So even just cloning this wouldn't have helped because you needed to know the code as well. But the security system, everyone in the company used it. They went in, they swiped, they hit in the code, and they opened the door. I went in to take a look, and I thought, okay, I wonder how good is the magnet, because usually they're held close with a magnet. And I opened the door. Whoever installed the security system didn't put the fucking magnet on the door. So they put in the alarm system to swipe and to put in the keypad, and every fucker in the office was using this, but no one actually tested the door to make sure that it was actually locked and that the magnet just wasn't on. Fucking stupid. Do you ever get bored of writing reports? I don't write that many reports. EMV equipment again. I don't know what I mean by EMV. How do you get into this line of work? I've got videos on TikTok on that. Sorry, lots of people keep asking that same question, and if I keep going back over, I'll never get to any others. If you look at the bottom of the TikTok, there's a few where I talk about that. What exploits do you know about Bluetooth? Telling organization not to use them, but I don't know why I'm telling them that. I mean, what is it they're using Bluetooth for? I don't like what's. I can't see why a company would be using Bluetooth, but yeah, it's fairly easy to do, like man in the middle attacks and lift data out of them. Operator handbook. I don't know. Do you mean that? The blue team field manual kit. I've also got the red team one. These are really cool. Now these are not going to teach you how to hack or how to defend. The blue team's defending. But they're really good reference guides. So this has, like, how to use Nmap scans, network discovery, all that good stuff. Really handy books. Like I said, I've got the red team one. I don't know where it is. I think it's in my go bag. Anti-spying apps. Don't know of any. What are some programming languages you recommend? Python's great. PowerShell's really good. I've heard good reports from Go, but I haven't used it myself. Sorry. I've been talking a lot. Not used to it. I need to start doing vocal warm-ups. Thanks. Watching vids now. They've been very helpful. I'm glad. Will they give me 5k to put a chip in my work computer? Yes. Yes, I will. I'll give you 5k to put in a. I don't even have any. So the actual USBs are called rubber duckies. I don't have any handy. There you go. I'll give you 5k to put that one in. Some heroes ones. I've got a couple of questions. Shoot, but I am way behind. I am going to try my damnedest to catch up. What do you think about COVID-19? I think it's a virus. Anyone else think the COVID-19 shot sus? Yep, yep. Do you want me to do the other arm, just in case you think I'm tricking you? Was McAfee correct when he said there's no safe device, encryption, or browser? I mean, yes, he was still an asshole though. Yeah, yeah, everyone can be hacked. Yeah, everyone's saying that. Can you explain what it means when people say pen testers and big ATPs? APTs? I haven't heard that one. Write their own tools. That I think is bollocks. So see that's reinventing the wheel. So there's a lot of people have this concept of script kiddies, which has been around for ages. You had a script kiddie and they copied some thing that they found on the internet, some script, and then they just run it on websites, and that's how they hack, and they don't really understand what's going on in the background. I think that's shifted now because there's so much code out there. If you look at like Metasploit, Social Engineering Toolkit, all of these tools that are there for pen testers and researchers that are really, really good. Most pen testers use them because there's no point. Like if you have Metasploit that has the vulnerability for the CVE that you're testing, because you're going to be testing a website and you're going to be looking for common, well-known things for the most part. You're not going to be looking for like some new threat that no one's ever thought of, because that's what a threat researcher does, and it's a very specific thing. If you're just looking at a website and you're going to say, okay, what's an attacker likely to do against this? You're going to scan it, you're going to see what versions it's on, you're going to see what vulnerabilities it could have, and then you're going to test those vulnerabilities. That's what you're going to do. And if Metasploit has all those vulnerabilities in there, why the fuck would you waste your time writing code to do it for you? It doesn't make sense. So I think the script kiddie thing has moved a bit. Pen testers don't always write their own code. Like it's you need to understand what's going on in the background to not be a script kiddie. A script kiddie would just download Metasploit and just keep fucking hitting buttons until something happens, and they don't understand what's going on. And generally they'll get caught because that kind of traffic is it's easy to spot. You'd be like someone's knocking on the front door, effectively. So I think that concept of script kiddies has sort of died a bit. I think it's more a case of they're using code and they don't know how it works. Whereas a proper pen tester, they're going to have, even if they don't actually know line by line what the code's doing, they're going to have a fair understanding of what it's attempting to do. So I think that's the difference. But yeah, I think it's bollocks. Like, why would you write something that's going to be already written out there? There's just no need. NordVPN, don't use it. That answered my question. Good. Who makes the jammer? That one. I think I got that from China. I think. What's the word? The bird is the word. Hacking freestyle, Libre sensor Abbott. Sure. DuckDuckGo or Google. To be honest, I use Google just because I've got an Android phone. I've got the Google Play Store. Google knows everything about me anyway. I don't care if they know what kind of weird porn I watch. It's fine. So yeah. And it's handy too, because if I ever forget what my my credit card detail is or my password, I could just email Google and be like, hey, what's my password meant to be? You've bound to have captured it. Hello from Toronto. Hey, Toronto. I actually gave a talk at B-Sides Halifax recently. Please explain NFC hacking. It's where you hack NFC cards. Nobody pays you for cybersecurity. I beg to differ. It's what I do. Have you ever hacked a GPS tracking device? I've jammed one. So actually this can jam GPS. And there's an operating system called Sigint OS, and in it has a tool that lets you transmit a GPS location. So it sends a GPS signal, it looks legitimate, that says, hey, I'm here, but actually it can be anywhere you want. You put in a longitude and latitude, and that signal appears as if it's coming from somewhere else. It's quite cool. Any tips on how to get started? Again, go check the earlier videos. Qualies or Rapid 7 in your opinion? I've used Rapid 7 more. Yeah. What do you think about 5G WHE? I don't know what you mean by WHE, but I mean 5G is it's not going to kill you. And the stuff that it can do technologically wise, like the amount of stuff that people can build and can talk to now, and the yeah, just the communication that'll be possible, and the amount of data is really mind boggling. Yeah, it's really cool. Actually, just while we're on that, complete side tangent, but something really cool that I recently read about. Okay, so FPGAs, field programmable gate arrays, are like network switches but for data. So they're really, really quick at handling data. They're hardware based things under a series of logic gates and or gates. They're used in radio a lot because they're really quick at processing things. But a research team found that with an HD feed, so like a 4K feed, you can use MATLAB and an FPGA to process images to the point that you can actually see someone's pulse underneath their skin, because it looks for tiny deviations in color, and it allows them to actually see the pulse of someone. And what they were using this for with 5G, because of the really low latency of the communication, they were using drones to triage patients at car crashes. So this drone would fly over a car crash site, use this technology to check to see who's got a pulse, who's got an elevated pulse, who doesn't, who's potentially not breathing, and log all this information and log where they are, and send it really fucking quickly back to the ambulances and fire services that are on their way, so that as soon as they hit the ground, they know exactly who they need to go to first, where they are, and what's likely to be wrong with them. And they can do that because of 5G, because of the amazing speed of the connections. And I think that's just fucking mind-boggling. What is your favourite prevention for keyloggers? Don't plug anything into your computer. Check that no one's plugged anything into your computer. Generally, that'll do it. What's your hack in the box built for? It's a demo kit. So I take it to conferences. It's just a portable way of carrying all my shit. Do you have an RFID chip in your hand? No, and I think people who do that need to get their head looked at. Because I mean, effectively, you're putting robotics or electronics into your body, and at the minute it's one way. Like RFID, it's it's only going out, it's not going in. But as soon as that communication comes two way, that maybe it could affect something in your body, you're effectively making your body hackable. So like someone with a pacemaker, a hacker could kill them because of they take RF signals and they're not secure. So yeah, implanting things in your body, no. Advanced persistent threat. Sorry, I completely blanked on that acronym. I can't even remember what your question was. I'm sorry, and I am like 70 behind, so I'm just going to keep going. Apologies. Ask the question again. I'll hopefully get to it. Also, time-wise, we are at 5:30, and my battery is nearly dying, so I'm going to need to wrap up soon. I am sorry. Is it possible to clone my fair Des 14? Maybe. Hello from Reversing Lab. Hello. Someone asked what my YouTube channel is. It's Maker Vlog. It's on the account. Did you see the AI that writes code for you? I've seen a few. I haven't seen any that work really well. Are you into CTFs, and what's your favorite site? I don't do too many CTFs. I'm currently setting one up for one of the universities. They're wanting to do tests of that stuff, but I haven't done many myself. I'm quite crap at them, to be honest. How do people get your info? On the main channel, there's an Instagram, YouTube. I think there's even a Discord under the YouTube somewhere. Why won't the FCC allow state prisons to jam cell phone signals inside their facilities? That's where the UK and the FCC differ. I don't know. What's the best OS? Depends what you're doing. Where are you from? UK? Yeah, I'm from the UK. I'm from Northern Ireland. What's in your hack in the box? SDRs, software defined radios. These things. Hack RF1, which is an SDR that can transmit. A battery pack, keyboard, mouse, screen, and a Raspberry Pi. Oh shit! I've caught up. I've caught up. How the fuck did I do that? There's no. Hold on. I think it's fucked. No, maybe not. Okay, cool. Best OS for pen testing. Cali, Arch, Parrot, etc. Personal preference, me, it would be between Cali and Parrot. Cali has, I think, better community support to a degree. But I use Parrot, and yeah, like my computer screen that's behind you is running Parrot. I just like it. In fact, let me show you. I always keep saying that, oh, I like it because it's pretty, but let me show you what I mean. Oh, this is all the research papers, by the way, for 5G. I didn't really stay on that for very long. But that's Parrot there. And if I go into the terminal is where, look at it. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's just so nice. Yeah. Oh, where are we? Oh, oops, put the keyboard on that. Someone put a YouTube link. Can't click on that. What's your proudest achievement? Well, my son, really. He's 10 months old. He's doing okay so far. How do you switch from HFW to CFW on a PS3? No idea. It is really pretty. It is. Can you suggest anyone who I can go to get help? Help with what? Also, who was it had the advanced or the persistent threat? The advanced persistent threat. What was the question on that? If they're still in the chat, would you take on someone who wants to learn ethical hacking? What, like in a fight? What certification did you suggest getting when starting IT? I just finished my A+. Oh, well done. The A+ is a good one, to be honest. You could get a you get yourself a like a support job, which is a good starting point. Just don't stay there. Like third line support, or sorry, first line support is not a fun place to be. It's not, but it's a good place to get a lot of experience. You'll get coverage on a lot of different things. Just don't stay there. Make a point that if you're in third line support, that you really try and work your way up into something else, or move sideways into something else like network engineering or something like that. But the A+ is definitely a good stepping stone for that. So well done on that. Network Plus would be potentially a good cert to look at next. Can a D-author get access to your Wi-Fi? Well, a D-author just kicks people off Wi-Fi. Apprentice type role. I'm probably not the best one to ask for that. If you go to the channel, go to the channel, go to the Instagram, and send me a message. Let's see. Do you have a thing that repeats car locks and unlocks signals? So I tried to make that in my last video. I tried to build part of that here. Oh, so Arduino and a little transmitter. So I've read about that device. I've seen the spec of it. I've been trying to replicate it for a while, and I just haven't been able to. Because you need to find a really fine line whenever you're transmitting the jamming signal that stops the car from seeing it. You need to also make sure you don't interfere with the actual signal coming from the key fob, because you want to capture it, so you don't want to overload it with the signal that you're putting out. And so that's what I've been struggling with. I've been trying to get a really narrow signal. To be honest, I've been lazy about it because I've just been trying to use tools and stuff that I have lying around that I can do without too much effort. It's been a right arse, so I'm probably going to just use my my Hack RF1 and use GNU Radio just to make a signal myself and make it really narrow band. So no, I don't have one, but I am trying to build one. Suspect I've been professionally hacked, and I was wondering if there was anywhere I can get help for this. The police. How safe are game torrents? Not much. I take it that you're a ham radio operator. I am. Oh, it's not. It's over there. Yes, my radio licenses are all up on the wall over there. Ecuador. I'm watching the AI that allows user to input an IP. Oh, I'm working on an AI which allows the user to input an IP, which then allows you to gain access. That's. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I really hope you don't get that working. It would make my life annoying. People where I live have them, and they're stealing cars in our country. Yeah. Yeah, they're a fucker. So those devices that actually capture that signal, they have to be close to the car. Generally speaking, they sort of store them underneath it. So something you can do to keep an eye on that is check your car, like underneath the wheel arches, underneath the car. Get familiar with what underneath your car looks like, and get familiar with what underneath your car looks like, and then you'll know if something new appears there. Um, so let me see. Okay, gonna answer a few more, and then I'm definitely gonna have to shoot on. What's your career experience like? What's your best experience within ops? And so a lot of my cool experiences whenever I was working radios, and I can't talk about it. Sorry. Enjoy your talk. Talk to you later. Cool. Glad. Why do people hack Facebook account? I mean, this was changed. Why bother? Because people are assholes. Yeah, people are dicks. For any social media account like that, make sure you turn on multi-factor authentication because it makes life a lot harder for an attacker. And also use unique passwords on all your accounts. So like use something like a password manager like Keeper, LastPass, and OnePass. They're all really, really great tools to use, and they'll like randomly generate a password for you and put it in for you. Um, and then that way you're laughing, because then if one account gets hacked, doesn't then compromise the other. Hey, what's up? How do I change HFW to save for mid menus? Sorry, I've seen that question before. I don't know. Easy Fisher software could have done it. It makes URL look like Facebook. Yeah, so phishing is the easiest way to get credentials. Again, if you have a MFA, that then stops that. Even if they've got your credentials, they can't immediately get access to your account, and you'll get a bit of a warning, because they can remove MFA, like they can start social engineering around it, but you'll be warned about it as soon as they start trying, because your phone will ping saying, "Hey, did you just try and log in?" If you get that, don't ignore it. Go in, start changing your passwords, and check your accounts. Hello from another. Then I have a 8570 in the cart. Nice, nice. I've been eyeing up the Zygo G90, like the portability of it and having 20 watts output. I'm so close to biting the bullet and getting one. When I was user, I used a keylogger on Roblox. I have hundreds and lots. Nice. Still illegal, but nice. Nobody uses 1Password. I've been pulling passwords off. Weak leak info for verified Twitter. Yeah, don't do that. That's illegal. But yeah, use a password manager and use unique passwords. What language should I use for my AI? Do you recommend? Again, as I said, I really hope you don't get that AI working because I get it. It's a cool thing to do, and it would be really interesting. But consider if someone malicious got their hands on that or figured out how to make that. It would not be great. Um, Outside of that, as far as AI goes, AI is not my area of expertise, so I don't know. Python. I think you can do AI in Python. Pretty sure. I think I've seen neural nets and stuff being used. I bet I can get your password right now. Cool. How do I set up Cali Linux? Okay, right. I have 12% battery and my throat is cut off me. We're going to call it there. So I'm setting up Cali. Go to the Cali Linux webpage. They've got plenty of how-to guides in there setting it up. There's a really good community behind it. They'll help you out. Write the GUI in C++ and main body in Python. Sure. Right. Check out the Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. If there's anything that you want me to do at some point, even in a live, if there's something you want me to demo in a live or do a video on, let me know. Other than that, I shall see you later on.